record the notes. You can find the recordings later in the day on the notes assignment. It has a link and a password and stuff that you use to get in. Yes, I can still see you. Don't turn off your cameras. All right, so we are talking about the Federal Reserve and the banking system. Okay, the Federal Reserve and the banking system. And the Federal Reserve is like the bank for banks. It is the federal government's money source. It's the bank for the federal government, Federal Reserve. So they're the ones that are monitored by the government, and they are the ones that in turn monitor the banking system. Okay, so let's get our title. I know this is a little piece out of chapter 12, but we're still going to call it chapter 15. Okay, because in the long run, it's all part of chapter 15. Chapter 15, notes number 1, the Federal Reserve and the banking system. Okay, the Federal Reserve and the banking system. All right, first piece. We got to talk about what the Federal Reserve does. The Federal Reserve most of the time it's just called the Fed. Okay, so in the news, if you hear the Fed did this, the Fed did that, okay? The Federal Reserve helps regulate our banking system. Okay, and our economy. Okay, that's what they do. That's their job. They regulate the banks and they go ahead and regulate the economy by doing that. Okay. They are the government bank that monitors and maintains, sometimes the words don't come, the bank of the government. Okay, so they are the government bank in charge of the commercial and commercial banks, sorry, left off a word, and credit unions. So they have to have strict guidance because they're messing with other people's money. And this Federal Reserve and all of this was created to help monitor and maintain our money system. And mostly it was in response to the Great Depression, because there were a whole bunch of these little community banks that when the Great Depression hit, all the money gone. And people's lives destroyed and stuff. So they put into place a government agency entity that monitors the flow of money, that makes sure that the banks have this amount of money that they say they have. They ensure and protect the people that put the money in the bank. And it makes it so that our money is safe. Okay. Now, one of the roles of the Federal Reserve is to regulate banks, making sure they are following the banking laws. How can you deposit money? How much can be deposited without having to check into who the people are? There's all these kind of rules. Okay. The other main job the Federal Reserve has, is to monitor banks for stability and audit banks to make sure they are doing correct lending, that protects depositor money. So you may not know, but the money you put into a bank doesn't stay in the bank. They actually have only a small percentage of how much a bank actually has in money at the particular location is only a small part of what the bank actually owns. And that is because the money that people deposit to the bank is pooled together and then lended out to people for things like home loans and car loans and things like that. And that's what happened in the Great Depression, is the fact that they had the money and they loaned it out so a person could buy their home, but then the whole economy just tanked. And at that point, they didn't have to have some money in reserve. They didn't have to have some money in the vault ready to go in case people needed money. Okay. And so that's when they say, those that have studied the history and stuff, and you've done the class already on US history, there was a run on the banks, and that was all the depositors panicked, hurried to the bank run, and demanded all of their money back. The only problem is you can't do that because your money was loaned to person A so they could buy their home. And they're paying it back a little at a time, home loan, but it's not like the whole thing's there. And it was the first time I think that the general public realized and started learning how banks worked. You know, they thought that they put the money in there and it went in the safe and it sat in there. It doesn't. The way that they can give you interest on your savings is because they're loaning that money to someone else and they charge a higher interest to that person so that they can make some money and pay you back. And we're going to be going over home loans and stuff and car loans and stuff, so that'll make a little more sense. Okay. Another thing that they have to do is they are responsible for price stability. Okay. Price stability, which means that the Fed tracks inflation and if it is too high, it is too high, it will hurt the economy. Okay? Because if inflation is too high, then the dollar that you earn doesn't buy as much as it should. Okay, that's what inflation is. It's the amount of money extra that you have to pay for things. And yeah, we understand that, things cost more because life happens, but we don't want it happening and changing our numbers so drastically in short periods of time that the $50 you earn today buys you 1/3 of what you could have bought yesterday. So that's bad. So inflation that's too high hurts the economy. So in order to fix that, in order to help offset that, the Fed adjusts the prime index which is the percent banks charge each other to borrow money. Okay, so they adjust this price index up or down depending on what needs to happen with the economy. Do I need to stimulate the economy? Then I will reduce the interest, reduce the amount that can be charged for interest. Okay. If my economy is going well, I can raise the interest rates. So it's continually fluctuating, this prime index. High inflation, they're going to lower the interest rates. To encourage people to buy high value items like homes. Okay, like homes, because that's a big ticket item, homes, because there's hundreds of thousands kind of thing. Which will then stimulate the economy. So it gives a positive impact. Okay. If we have low inflation, then they raise the interest rate to encourage saving and manufacture. Okay. Which slows the economy and keeps inflation from going up too fast. Okay. All right, so I need everybody on page 235 of the real book. I believe that's 257 of the PDF. Let me go to mine. Oh, that's my algebra. Okay. So the easiest way to get to the book, I find, is going on the stream and scrolling all the way down to the bottom. Every so often, I might shoot it back up to the top, but I gave it to you a while ago. Right there. Okay, and I'm scrolling to the bottom, so don't look at the screen if it's going to make you feel nauseous. Let me see, what page am I on? Got to go a lot farther up. Nope, wrong way. It's the only thing that I find on the Chromebook, they don't have a, do they have a page up and a page down button like the laptops do? Do Chromebooks have a page up and a page down just like the laptops do? Because we got to go way down here. Yeah. I know. So that's the thing that's irritating is you have to use the scroll. I thought, and I don't know why it doesn't do it, and it might if you open with Cami. You can open your PDF with Cami, and it might let you jump to the page number you want. And you actually could, you know, highlight the book and do things like that too. I never thought about doing that with the Cami. Let's see. Does it let us jump down to the page we want? Can we type in a page number? I don't know. I have to look. I've never actually fiddled with Cami in this setting. I think we're just about the same, huh? It should let you have a page something where you could just like type in a page number and zoom to the bottom. But it doesn't, so we have to zoom. Page down. Zoom, 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 zoom. Did anybody find a way to do it? You can go this way too. Almost too far. So backing up slightly. What we want, what I want you to take a screenshot of because it's helpful. And remember the handwritten or typed notes that are physical, not electronic notes, but physical notes. Oh, I did find a spot on Cami. Yay. Cami's the way to go then. What you want is a picture of this, figure 12.3. Take a screenshot of that. Now, I don't want a screenshot of the entire book page. I want a screenshot of this figure only. And the way you do that, the way you take a screenshot of just a little piece that you want instead of the whole thing, okay? The way you take a picture of just the little bit, looks like it's page 254 on the PDF. The way you take a picture of just a little bit is you go ahead and, should be showing that screen. You hit the shift button and the control button and the little square with two lines in the middle of the top row. It'll gray the page out and allow you to like circle the piece that you want. Okay, so I don't want the whole book page. I just want figure to 12.3 on page 235. So let me go back to our share. Okay. This is our page number I want, page 235. I just want this bottom part. So like I said, if you do Control and Shift and the little box with the 2 lines that's in the center row at the top, it'll gray out the page and you can just highlight the part you want. Okay, and you're going to insert that into your Google Doc that I gave you. Okay, so we want this picture here. So we want page 235 of the book, figure 12.3, and that looks like it's PDF page 254. At least that's this PDF page in Canny. Okay. All right. So we're going to switch back 1 second. Okay. So you need to add to your notes that screenshot of just that figure. Please don't give me the whole page. Okay. And remember to take screenshots, Shift button, which is SHIFT, and Control CRTL. And it's a box with 2 lines in the top row. You hold all 3 of those down at once. It'll gray the page out. You highlight the piece you want. You add that to the bottom of your notes page, and then you turn your notes in. It should be its own page. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to turn off the recording.